Childlessness.
My bre,
25 years since I married, and there's nowhere I have not visited in search of a child.
I was always crying. I was asking God to help me get one, so that people will know that I'm not just sitting there as if I don't care.
Infertility stigma is enough to kill.
A fair proportion of people who unfortunately are not able to get children when they want them do present with depression.
It has been demonized.
The woman that is looking for a baby would prefer spiritual solutions to medical solutions. So she would spend years on end jumping from one spiritual center to the other, jumping from one church to the other.
So, they will go every length to purge themselves of the stigma of infertility.
Right here in Obuasi, a lady has just died after drinking a herbal concoction supposed to help her conceive.
There is this woman whose husband was, and they went to a fetish priest. The husband was standing there. The fetish priest was there. The woman was stripped naked, completely naked. And the fetish priest was washing the woman. Washing. When I say washing, you understand what I'm talking about. You understand the language. Yes. The man was standing there just because they are looking for a baby. For 15 years, they couldn't get it.
Women are mostly the victims.
The first blame is on the woman, because it is the woman whose tummy becomes big.
The male factor cause of infertility, that's sperm abnormalities, is on the increase. Yes.
Same in Ghana?
Yes, and it is most of the studies that have been done here show that it is almost 50-50. 50% of the causes come from women and 50% of the causes come from men. So it is not only a woman's problem.
But early treatment makes people smile.
Me, I'm a baby in my womb. Hey!
This is Seth Kwame Boatin. Today, I discuss infertility, a sensitive topic most victims are uncomfortable talking about due to stigma. Intense prayers and declarations for the women in the church to have children through the power of God. This is the Hosanna Ministries International here in Accra. The Hour of Pregnancy, one of the church's annual programs where childless couples gather to pray and to be prayed for. Today, over 90% of the congregants are women, and they are keenly following every single instruction from their leader, Reverend Ohina Sari, so they do not miss their divine chance of getting pregnant. And particularly in African societies like Ghana, the word childlessness arouses immediate sense of pity in the minds of people. Children are regarded as great treasure to their parents, relations, and their immediate community. Unfortunately, it is the woman who suffers most, even when she is not the problem. Psychiatrist Dr. Sami Ohene of the University of Ghana School of Medicine and Dentistry explains.
Especially for a woman, childlessness is a taboo. You are labeled as probably a witch, or it is assumed that something that you've done wrong in your past is what is responsible for your inability to have a baby. Or, you know, it's something that is looked down upon. You are regarded as worthless, not worthy of being a woman. In fact, they say that you are not a woman if you've not had a child. And the society looks at you with scorn and suspicion.
Childlessness is a worrying concern because of its implications for the maintenance of societies and partly because of its disturbing effect on couples and individuals. Like any other social phenomenon, childlessness should be understood through the historical, social, and cultural circumstances.
Because I'd always wondered what happens to women with children, maybe young children.
At the Sociology Department of the University of Ghana, Sexual and Reproductive Health lecturer Dr. Peace Mamletete explains our socialization process is the cause of that.
Right from when you are a baby, a young girl, you are told that you become a mother. The toys you are given a baby and you are a mother. So it has become ingrained in us, where your whole identity as a woman is tied to you, is tied to motherhood. And so you feel that if you are not able to have a child, then you are not a woman, you are not worthy to be called a woman. And there are many things within our society, proverbs, music, conversations around this, that makes every woman feel that this is the only thing that makes you somebody, so that you can be educated. And people would say, oh, this woman is educated, but she has no child.
Back at the Hosanna Ministries International, Reverend Ohinasari firmly believes most infertility cases go beyond physical.
About 60% of them are spiritual.
How?
You see, God created everybody to be fruitful and multiply. All right? Okay, so if the pregnancy is not coming, now you go to hospital. All that the doctors can do or could do, they did. The thing didn't come. Sometimes the doctors will tell you it is because of fibroid, all right? Now they do surgery on you, remove the fibroid. Pregnancy won't come. Another time, the same fibroid that was removed will come again. Some of them have been through fibroid operation for more than 4 times and still the pregnancy is not coming. Now, if it is the fault of fibroid, for which reason the pregnancy wasn't coming, now that the fibroid has been removed, why is it that the woman is not getting pregnant?
Praying for those who were supposed to menstruate from 26th of June to the 5th of July. We started praying and we're declaring the word of God. We're saying that they will not see blood, they will not see blood, they will be pregnant.
Days into the hour of pregnancy program, some women have already taken seed, as announced by Reverend Ohinasari.
Has granted them grace and they have crossed the line, and today they shall also be called mothers. Yes, somebody give my Jesus a shout of praise.
The excitement from the church, and especially among the newly pregnant women, is because an era in their lives has ended.
There was a day I couldn't do anything, I couldn't preach. I fell down here, wept all throughout. Because the woman was holding my leg, just grabbed my leg. And then let me show you how he was. He said, Erade, Mami Bakupe, I don't want 2, I don't want 3. Just 1 for somebody to know that I'm also a mother. And I just broke down. When you ask my pastor, they will tell you, I couldn't do anything again. I had to cry all throughout. Well, I have 6 children, you know, and then somebody is looking for just 1 and he couldn't get it and is crying.
Thousands of women around the world, especially those married for years without a child, continue to say the just one prayer daily. Medically, they are called infertile, as explained by Dr. Kennedy Brighton, a reproductive health physician and head of the Shai Osudoku District Hospital.
If a man and a woman live together, married or cohabitation, you know, they live together under one roof and they have unprotected sex for 12 months, and we do not see any resultant value of they are living together and having unprotected sex, then we say that we're talking of infertility.
A 2017 study by Harvard School of Public Health revealed some 50 million couples worldwide are desperately trying to conceive, but to no avail. In Ghana, infertility is very high, though there are no reliable statistics to support it. That's according to Dr. Rudolph Kantuma Dagiba, consultant fertility specialist.
Sub-Saharan Africa, where we find ourselves, has been referred to as the infertility belt, meaning that, you know, it is more of a problem here than elsewhere. So in the infertility belt of Sub-Saharan Africa, it has even been said by some sources that it's up to 30% of all those trying to conceive. So 30% of those trying to conceive having fertility problems is a big issue. So it is a big problem. But in the absence of core data, in our particular environment, we cannot know. But generally, it is a problem that is big.
And this problem affects not only the couple, but their families as well. Dr. P. Stete says it is the reason it gets to a point families of childless couples attempt to offer unsolicited assistance.
Infertility does not only stigmatize that individual or that couple, it's a stigma on the whole family. So assuming that I didn't have children, you know the background check we do when we are going to marry, the things we look out for, disease, infertility, you know, so they come and say, oh, this house, they don't give birth, they are infertile. So you see, you are stigmatized, the whole family is stigmatized. So you see, the woman is making efforts to get pregnant. Her mother and her sisters are all looking for solutions to the problem because it's a family problem.
In Kumasi, in the Ashanti region, I meet 40-year-old Porkeria Dawuni, who has tasted, felt and lived with infertility stigma. 7 years after she married, she and the husband did all they could, but no sign of pregnancy took place.
It got to a time that I decided to investigate. So anytime we go to the hospital, they will run some tests and say that we are okay. We should go and fire, who get pregnant. Then fire continue. Then a year will pass, no show. Year after year after year. Hey. You know, I got married very young then. And I wasn't really bothered at the beginning due to the nature of my work. But as time goes on, it dawned on me, the feeling of becoming a mother and all that, you know, and I was not getting it.
Doctors explain there is a scientific reason why Porkeria has never been pregnant, even though she and her husband are having unprotected sex.
If the man goes his own way and meets a woman somewhere, the woman becomes pregnant. If the woman also goes her own way and meets a man somewhere, she also becomes pregnant. But the two of them do not become pregnant.
Why?
Just because the first time they ever met, the woman's body tends to recognize the man's semen that he introduced into the woman during the bedtime relationship as foreign bodies. The woman's body recognizes the semen, the sperm as foreign bodies. So the woman then produces soldiers. You know, once you meet your enemy, you go and get soldiers to fight the enemies for you. So the woman produces soldiers. These soldiers are called anti-sperm antibodies. Anti, an American will say anti, you know, anti-sperm antibodies. So these antibodies are there with the woman.
Fighting the semen.
Yes, so once the man pours the semen in, they fight. You get it? Yeah. So it is not that she cannot become pregnant, but now her body is seeing the husband's body or the husband's body fluid as foreign bodies and is producing soldiers to destroy them.
Some couples see infertility as a malady and become consumed with it. Their need for a child swallows up the joy in their lives. They will do anything, make any sacrifice to have a child. They may have uncomfortable feelings toward those who are blessed with children. They may find fault with each other or become angry with themselves. They may doubt God's wisdom as it applies to their lives. These are intense feelings and very real. Though Porkeria says she is a strong woman, she lost her strength anytime she felt God was favoring other women over her.
As a Catholic, almost every Sunday you see people dedicating their children. That is the painful, like we marriage in group. You know the year, if you marry in 2018, You know, the people that married around that time from 2008, they want to the end of the year and all that. So it's like you get a group of 2 or 3 or something like that. Like I married the next day, this person married or what. And these people, I mean, keep on coming with their children to come and, I mean, offer tree. And, you know, when Catholics are doing those things, they really do it. The white, the family, the baby, you know, how they go about it. This person will come and do the baptism, the Thanksgiving, the next day another person comes and all that. Another year, like year after year. Some can even decide to give birth like pig daddy. They give every year, they give birth. And you sit down and you ask yourself, hey, this one just got married. I got married 4 years ago before this, and the person has given birth to 3 children already. What am I doing? And all that. So if your faith in God is not strong, you even stop going to church.
Pulcheria is all smiley today because she's now a mother. I will soon tell you the number of children she has after 7 years of waiting. But let's first meet 49-year-old Abayabwa, though not her real name. She does not have children. She has been married for 20 years.
I have gone to pastors, herbalists, and other places in my quest to have a child. One pastor at a point told me he could impregnate me. I am lucky I didn't allow him.
Abba is more than 35 years. Fertility specialist Dr. Rudolph Kantumadagiba explains that at this age, the chances for women to conceive begin to reduce because there may not be enough eggs to facilitate conception.
The time in the woman's life where she has the maximum number of eggs is when she's still in the mother's room, around maybe 7 months or 8 months of the pregnancy. There you have about 6 million to 8 million eggs. From that point onwards, the eggs begin to decrease. So at the time of the birth of a female child, the eggs in both ovaries projected to be around 2 million thereabout, 2 to 3 million. From birth, the eggs begin to decrease. By the time of the first menstruation, which is now about 11, 12, 13 years in Ghana, the eggs have reduced from 2 million at birth to about 500,000.
Really?
So, yes, that means that 3/4 of the eggs are gone. By the age of 35, there's a critical reduction in the number of eggs. So apart from the numbers being apart from the numbers going down, the quality of the eggs are also going down because, see, those eggs, as I told you, are formed when the woman was still in the mother's womb. So the eggs are just as old as the woman. Unlike men produce sperm, new sperms all the time.
In Ghana, fertility-enhancing herbal preparations abound. They are available for sale in shrines, herbal shops, in bus terminals, almost everywhere. Abba has drunk a lot of these herbal mixtures over the years.
Some of the concoctions were not prepared well, so I ended with hepatitis. I was drinking these without questioning anyone or because I'm in need of a child. Anytime I saw anyone with a baby, I approached the person to find out what she did to conceive. The pressure from my husband's family and my own family was unbearable, so I needed to do all I could to conceive. I remember my sister-in-law confronted me and told me no matter what, they will ensure their brother gets a child. Apparently, they had found another woman for him to marry without my knowledge. When I found out, I intensified my consumption of the concoctions.
Pulcheria can relate. Something unusual happened to her after she drank one of these concoctions when she needed a baby.
I took this medicine. Then it was very bitter.
Medicine for what?
Medicine to conceive through the sun. So my husband brought it. And where it was coming from, I couldn't refuse. And he also asked me to try. So I tried. 3 days or a week later, I started poo-pooing blood. And it was quite serious. I poo-pooed blood. So when I told my husband about it, he didn't believe it. So I sat on a paint rubber to demonstrate how serious the thing was coming. And you wouldn't believe that I filled the paint rubber with the blood. And as soon as I get up and from the paint rubber, like the blood will clot. turn into something else.
Some of these concoctions are not only effective, but dangerous.
What is required in a woman to get pregnant is one, the uterus, the tubes, and then ovulation, release of eggs. Now, when you give somebody herbal concoction to take for infertility treatment, what are you targeting? Are you targeting the tubes, the uterus, or the ovaries? You must target something. The tubes are a physical structure. No drug really affect the tubes. The uterus is a physical structure in the body. No drugs actually affect the rest. The society has to understand that there are many people are claiming to treat infertility, but there are, as you know in life, there are centers which are good at doing this, and there are centers it's just ripping off the patients.
And sometimes they are giving things to insert into the female reproductive canal, the vagina. And when it happens like this, some of these things that they insert may not be clean enough and may contain bacteria. So if probably your challenge was that you were not ovulating, that's why you're not becoming pregnant, you've got to add on infection to it. So the infection goes to block your fallopian tubes. And then the day you even ovulate, you don't have access in your fallopian tube for the sperm to swim through and go and meet the egg and fertilize it.
One of the main things that can lead to divorce is infertility. And it's mainly because we say it's a woman's problem. So the woman has come in and she's not able to have a child, she must go. At the marriage, the expectations are that she will have children. A year or two down the line where she's not, she will be kicked out of the home. That's what we have in this part. But sometimes the men and their family may think that, oh, we like her enough. Let's do her a favor. Don't send her away, but we'll bring in another woman.
A favor?
Yes. So in that sense, when it happens like that, there's like they're doing you a favor. At least we've not sent you off, we've not sent you away. But you should be prepared to welcome another woman or children by other women into your space.
And these men try to prove their fertility outside their wives. Some end up with other diseases, says Dr. Kantum Adagiba.
Some can pick an infection from a partner outside of this. Because when you're testing your fertility, of course, you're not going to have protected intercourse. So there are so many social and cultural issues that, is related to this problem.
There is a general cultural belief among Africans that procreation is the basic aim of marriage. For many families in Ghana, marriage and procreation are inseparable. That's why marriages which fail to produce children often end in divorce. In Abe's case, her marriage has been threatened. A second woman has been brought in by the man's family.
My husband never expressed any worry that we didn't have a child. Whilst I was doing all I could to conceive, little did I know he had married another woman and they have had 3 children.
Studies have shown that childlessness could have lifelong impact on women and could affect their quality of life negatively. On the other hand, childlessness of the male as a result of infertility is often not acknowledged and is less visible. Further, there are other socially sanctioned ways in which men can mask their infertility. Childless men may therefore be less traumatized. However, in cases where the infertility of a man is known in the society, such man may also suffer different kinds of trauma and stigma. Medical examination conducted on Abe's husband later revealed he rather had a problem and not Abba.
At a point, he wasn't giving me money anytime I had a medical appointment. But because I am in dire need of a child, I would just find money and go to the hospital. I always went to the hospital alone because he felt he had 3 children with someone, so he didn't need any medical assistance. Until one day, Dr. Kantum asked him to come along. There, it was proven he had a problem. Because he could have sex with me, he felt the problem was coming from me. It is Dr. Kantum who made him know he had a problem. This means the 3 kids may not be his. But here is the case. His family blames me for our childlessness. If this burden is on you, how could you conceive? When we got home, he He apologized for all I had gone through. Remember, I had had 3 surgeries already. He repeatedly told me he had worried me because he thought the problem was from me.
It is the man that deposits the baby into the woman, and the woman also keeps the baby until 9 months. He brings a baby out for you. So if the pregnancy is not coming, you, the man, check yourself and find out, why is my wife not getting pregnant?
To just get up and blame the woman and subject that poor woman to very challenging, unpleasant situations just because she's not becoming pregnant, it's a bit of a worry to us. And I think that society would have to rethink the way we look at women, the way we treat women, and the way we understand their physiology.
The male factor cause of infertility, that's sperm abnormalities, is on the increase. Yes. And
Same in Ghana?
Yes, and it is most of the studies that have been done here show that it is almost 50-50. 50% of the causes come from women and 50% of the causes come from men. So it is not only a woman's problem. Unfortunately, now I get people coming here, men coming with their wives, to find out what is happening. Usually in the past, when I was doing residency, almost invariably it was the women who came first. It was the women who came first to find out what was happening. Then when of course, you have to investigate the man too. So when they do the semen analysis and then they come, sometimes you really know the problem is actually from the man, not the woman.